I want to show you my favorite bracelets of all time. I was going through my bracelet collection as I was filming my latest collection update video, and I've realized that I have so much to show you. I already did a video on my bracelets that use multicolored string, and another bracelet collection video focused on my most nostalgic bracelets. If you want to see those, the link to it is in the description, along with a playlist of the entirety of my collection updates, so you can look at all of the bracelets in my collection if you want to. It was difficult to narrow down my favorite bracelets of all time, and they're not necessarily in order, it's just the ones that I like the most, so I hope you enjoy. I may have pulled out more bracelets than I can handle. I have no idea how long this video is going to end up being, but I'm glad that I started doing extended versions of videos for my members. It's a lot less annoying to cut out bits where I ramble, if I know that they are still useful, because I keep them for the extended version. If you want to become a member and support the work that I do here, you can join the channel and get exclusive perks like extra content and a bunch of other stuff. Let's get into it. We're going to start off strong with the Starburst bracelet. This is one of my favorite patterns of all time, I think, and I made 3 of these. They are extremely time consuming, which is why I didn't end up making more, but I did make a tutorial for this pattern, and I also made a tutorial for the mini Starburst because I really like the design. And honestly, the mini Starburst is almost better than this because it's a lot quicker to make, but it still results in a really beautiful pattern. This is just huge, but I do like the gradient of each of them. Like, you can come up with a really smooth gradient because there's so many colors in it. This is very much like 2020 COVID vibes for me. I think the purple one I definitely made during COVID. Maybe these ones I made earlier. That's just kind of what I associate it with. Also, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but in this blue one, you can see that there are 2 strings, actually more than 2, but like some of the white strings have yellowed, but not all of them have yellowed evenly. And I have no idea why. None of them should have yellowed at all. They sit in a box, they don't get any sunlight. I don't know, maybe I dropped something on it, like hand cream or something, I don't know. We're continuing strong. We have the stitched chevron. This specific bracelet is one of my absolute favorites. I really love the design of the pattern as a whole. I think it's a really cool design. I have a tutorial for it, but also this bracelet specifically is really fun and also very nostalgic to me. I didn't include it in my nostalgic bracelets video, which, if you didn't know, I did an entire separate kind of collection overview with my most nostalgic bracelets. I'll leave that video linked as well if you want to watch it later. But I didn't include it in there because it's not like that nostalgic, I guess. It's more recent. But I do want to talk about it here. This bracelet, first of all, is the first time I ever tried making a loop with 2 colors. I used this bracelet for the tutorial of the basic loops, in which I explained how to do a loop with 2 colors. I ended up deciding that I don't really love doing that, so I haven't really been doing that. I feel like it kind of distracts from the pattern a little bit, but maybe that's just me. But then also, this bracelet specifically was originally going to be the cover for my book. This is the template that we originally had for my book cover back when it was also called the Friendship Bracelet Guidebook. That was like the working title that we used, and this was the working cover that we used. And actually, one of you sent me a message on Instagram and asked me, "Hey Masha, are you publishing a book?" Way before I announced it, because my publisher had sent out the information about my book to retailers and to shops, and one of them had published it early. And that shocked me because I hadn't even seen it. That was just kind of fun. But this was the original cover for the book, and we ended up changing it to a bunch of arrowheads because I thought that it looked more colorful and looked cool, but this could have been my book cover. But I also just really love the pattern. It's actually incredibly easy to make. The Starburst looks complicated, is complicated. This one looks complicated, is easy. Like, this is pretty much just a chevron with like a couple slight variations. So if you're looking for something cooler to make and maybe you're not super confident with bracelets yet, this is definitely a step up if you've made like a couple of chevrons before. I have some more nostalgic designs. If I didn't say it before, I'll try to leave all the patterns linked in the description. If there are any patterns that I haven't linked, it's because I couldn't find them. But if you also see a bracelet and you know the pattern and you see that there isn't one in the description, then please leave it in the comments. I'll update the video description. So this is really special to me. First of all, I just really like the pattern. But second of all, this was made during a point in my bracelet making journey where I was obsessed with making bracelets with sparkly string and also with multicolored string. And you can see in this bracelet, I use both for both. There is a multicolored string that goes from purple to orange to yellow. And then there's obviously this multicolored string that goes in different shades of blue. And you've got the sparkly sparkly strings that are on the outlines. I love it. I love it. I think it's really cute, and I definitely made a ridiculous amount of these, and I actually gave away quite a lot of them because this was only one that I could find. There was a moment where I was doing a bunch of bracelet swaps with a few people on Instagram. I have a bunch of bracelets from other people, and I gave away a bunch of bracelets, and I did some meetups in Moscow with some fellow bracelet makers, and we exchanged bracelets as well. And this is all during this era, so I think a lot of the bracelets from this era were given away to people, which is great. It just means that I can't really show them to you. Next, we have some bracelets that I've made with multicolored string. I've shown this bracelet many times before, but it genuinely is one of my favorite bracelets of all time. First of all, the pattern is just really cool. I think the pattern is amazing, but then obviously I also used a rainbow multicolored string in it, and I just love this multicolored string. It is gorgeous. This is one of the coolest multicolored strings that I found, specifically in the kind of rainbow pattern. They're really surprisingly difficult to find. I was able to order some more recently, but I had to order them to family's house in Florida, and then I picked it up when I went there because the delivery to the UK was just absolutely ridiculous, and I couldn't find anything local in the UK that sold them, so I delivered it myself. But it's just gorgeous. I love it, and I love how well it works within the pattern, and I love that I was able there's multiple strings of that multicolored string obviously, but I was able to kind of synchronize how the color change was happening. But there's some difference here, but then in general it's kind of synchronized, interestingly at a diagonal, but you know, still I was able to synchronize it, and I think that just makes it look really, really cool. And we have another bracelet made with the same multicolored string, but obviously it's a different pattern entirely. This bracelet is extra long. It is, that's 15, like 18 centimeters, and I usually make my bracelets anywhere between 14 and like 16. So this is extra long. It goes all the way around my wrist and connects, and there's still a little bit of room for it. The reason I made it this long is obviously because I wanted to make 4 of the design, because if I had stopped it here, that would have only been like 12, 13 centimeters, which to be honest isn't that far off from 14, but I for some reason decided to make 4 of it. I don't regret it. I think it looks really cool. I think it looks better with 4 than it would have with 3. I feel like that looks really short. Anyway, it's a really cool bracelet. I love the pattern. I love the multicolored string here. And doesn't it look still so different to this one? Like, it's the same multicolored string, but it's such a different vibe. I think maybe because there's white and it also has like an outline, and obviously the pattern itself is different, but then also look at these twisted ties. Like, that is just so cool to me. I love it. I love multicolored strings. It's so vibey. Let's move on to some alphas. This is a pattern that I made when I was in my cat era. I'm re-entering my cat era, very much so. I posted a Not With Me with a Kiki bracelet, as in the cat. I made a bracelet with the cat from the Kiki's Delivery Service film. I also made a cat bracelet for, well, I guess a cat bookmark for my aunt when I did my making bracelets for my family video. And I have a bunch more cat bracelets saved that I plan on making. So I'm re-entering my cat era, but this was my first cat era where I made a bunch of bracelets with cats, and this is one of my absolute favorites. I think it is just such a cute cat. It's a really cute pattern, and I also just love the multicolored string that I used for the background here. I'm pretty sure this was a string that I was gifted, because for the life of me I cannot remember what the string is, and I don't think I have any of it left over, so I must have been sent it in the mail and gifted like just like a bunch of this string that I used for this pattern, and I just don't remember what it is. It is so cool. It's like this pastel rainbow string that I think really vibes with the bracelet as a whole, with the design, with the cat. I think it's adorable, and it genuinely is one of my favorite bracelets of all time. We have another cat related pattern here, and this is also in my multicolored and sparkly era. I feel like that coincided with my cat era. I used a multicolored string for the background and then a sparkly string for that black text, which you can't really see that it sparkles. Maybe if I shine my phone light on it, you can see, there we go, you can see the sparkles there. This is just a really cute pattern. I remember having an absolute blast making this one. And this was also my first and only ever attempt at making triangle ends before and after an alpha bracelet. I found it so tedious and so annoying to do that I just never did it again. I was gonna do a tutorial for it, but then again, I just found it so tedious that I couldn't even force myself to do it again for a tutorial. I was just like, no, I don't want to do it. It's actually not even that hard. I don't know why I didn't, but it was just annoying, I guess. This is a more recent bracelet that I made, and by that I mean, I think I made it like a year and a half ago, but I just love it. Genuinely, I really, really love this bracelet. I don't even know why, because I'm not generally a fan of like massively repetitive patterns, and the repetition of this one is really short. That's the thing that gets repeated over and over again. It is a very repetitive pattern, and it's also very big and very long, so you would think that I would get bored of it. I don't know why I didn't. I genuinely didn't. I had fun making this throughout the entire thing, and I love the colors for this. Like, this is genuinely, I think the color combination is what makes it for me. This is one of my favorite bracelets because I really love the pattern and I really love love the colors. And you can see that the ties are kind of worn on this one because I have absolutely worn this. This is probably the bracelet I wear the most. So this one is very rarely in my collection box. I just kind of have it out and I wear it, which I'm thinking at the moment. I'm thinking and I'm trying to decide how I want my bracelets to be arranged because I feel like the box isn't working for me very well. I think I want to arrange my bracelets maybe somewhere where I can have them out, maybe separated by color in some way. So let me know how you separate your bracelets and how you arrange them because I want to wear them more and I think I want to match them to my outfits a little bit more, maybe separating them by color, generally speaking, or by vibe would be easier for me to do that, but I'm not sure. This is a bracelet that I made for Valentine's Day, not to give to my husband or anything, which it would be nice if I did it for that, but I just thought that it was a really cute pattern that I wanted to do as like a Valentine's Day themed bracelet. I released the video for the Knot With Me around Valentine's Day, and I just thought it was really cute. I think the elephants are really cute. I think the colors work really well here. It can actually be really difficult to find shades of gray specifically. For some reason, like a lot of them are kind of greenish gray or like bluish gray, and I just want regular gray that works together. So it can be really difficult to find shades of gray in general, like even if I just need one, but then also for them to kind of match in tone to each other. Like I needed 2 shades of gray here for the outline and then for the inside of the actual elephants as well. But this worked and it looks really cute. I really love this one. And there is a Knot With Me for it. In fact, there's quite a lot of Knot With Me's and videos for a lot of these bracelets, so even if I don't mention it, I'll have it linked in the description. Continuing on the vibe of alpha bracelets, I'm pretty sure this is actually legitimately my favorite bracelet of all time. I think this one takes the #1 spot from all of them, which I probably should have saved it for last to make it a little bit more intriguing, but why not just show it to you straight away? I vibe with any kind of berry fruit patterns. There was an entire fruit collection that I did, which is kind of an honorable mention. I didn't end up picking it out for this video, but I did a fruit collection. I did a Knot With Me for that fruit collection. I also really love those. So any kind of fruit berry themed bracelets, I just absolutely love. But then this pattern specifically, I just really vibe with. And I also really love the colors that I picked out for this. And I think they work really well. And you can very much see the wear and tear on this one as well. Like you can see some yellowing, you can see how twisted those ties are as well, because I wear this one more than any other bracelet. And that kind of makes me sad because I can see the wear and tear on it and I can see it getting like slowly more disgusting looking as I wear it, but I can't stop myself. I love it and I'm gonna be wearing it out in the summer. In that same vein, this bracelet kind of reminds me of that. I don't know why, but it gives me a similar vibe. Not quite the same because obviously this is like a collection and this is just one, but it gives me a similar vibe and I also really love this one. Like this pumpkin. First of all, I just love pumpkins. Pumpkins are such a vibe. They are very autumnal. They're like the perfect representation, the perfect symbol for autumn. I have drawn many a pumpkin in my journal. I have many pumpkin stickers in my journal for autumnal themes. I love carving pumpkins. I love pumpkin stuff. I hate pumpkin pie, I've discovered. I made pumpkin pie last year. We went pumpkin picking. My God, I've said that word so many times now it doesn't sound like a word anymore. I think I did a vlog actually. I think I filmed it for a vlog, so I'll link that vlog if I can remember which one it is. But we went pumpkin picking with my friends and then I came home and I wanted to carve them and so I did, but then I also wanted to make something with them. So I made pumpkin pie and apparently I made it well because my flatmate said it was a really great pumpkin pie. I've never had one so I couldn't tell, but I also realized that I absolutely hated the taste of it. So I like pumpkins by vibe. I don't really like the taste as it turned out. But look at this bracelet. Is it not just absolutely adorable? First of all, the design is just amazing. Like whoever made this pattern is an absolute artistic genius. But then also the colors just work so well. The blend here is amazing. You can still see like the outline of everything. It's just great. I really love this one. It doesn't work as well as a bracelet, I don't think. I don't think that, I mean, kind of. I don't think it really, you know? Like, I mean, let me know what you think. I'm curious in the comments, let me know. But I just think it's a bit weird. But as a bookmark or just as a thing that I look at occasionally, it's really pretty. Let's move on to some wall hangings. And I think for these ones, I'm gonna go chronologically. This is the first, my God, it's so big it doesn't even fit in frame. There we go. This is the first wall hanging that I have here. This is not the first wall hanging I ever made. I've made plenty, but this is the first wall hanging that I made that I was happy with in terms of the straightness of the edges. I struggled with my knot tension for a really long time. I explore that a lot more in the nostalgic bracelets video because that one shows a lot of my older bracelets and I literally show you the progression of how my knot tension changed throughout the years. So if you're curious about that, you can see it there. But I just know that I struggled a lot with knot tension. And this was the first wall hanging that I made that I was really happy with because the edges are straight. And I think I finally figured out my knot tension starting from this one. It's a little bit bumpy in places still, especially here where there's a lot of color change with the little like vines going up. And I think if I remade this today, I would have chosen a different color for the vines because you can't really see them very well. There's flowers and vines here. But is this not just like the most adorable pattern you've ever seen? Like this is such whimsical, magical cottagecore vibes, and those are very much my vibes. If you look around my room, you will see artwork that is very whimsical and magical cottagecore vibes. Those are the kinds of books that I like reading. Those are the kinds of stickers that I enjoy putting in my journals. Those are the kinds of stamps that I have for my journals. Like that's genuinely my vibe. So this fit perfectly with the kind of stuff that I love. Also, here is the back of it. I trimmed so much of it. There was a bunch of strings dragging along that I just ended up cutting because they annoyed me. And I think for this, like one tip I have for alphas, especially like bigger alphas, is having 2 different strings for 2 different parts. Like you can see that there's a bunch of red string dragging across at the beginning and then it stops. Well, it was dragging until I cut it and then it stops. It's because I finally figured out like somewhere around here that I can actually just have like 1 dark red string for the left side and 1 dark red string for the right side. Same here, like the brown that goes around. I have 1 set of strings for the left side, 1 set of strings for the right side for both the brown and then also like the vines and the flowers, separate strings on each side, and that kind of eliminates the need of dragging them across the entire thing, which would then pull on the tension quite a bit. Wasn't meant to be a tutorial, but that's some insight for you. So this is genuinely like one of my favorite pieces ever. But then moving on, I made more wall hangings after that. Not every single wall hanging is included here, but this one obviously is a big favorite of mine. And I did a knot with me for this one and the previous one. This is the cover of my book. My book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, has a very colorful cover. We talked about it just before with the other bracelet, but I used a bunch of arrowheads. Making a bracelet, well, this isn't a bracelet, but like a pattern of friendship bracelets is a really weird thing in concept. So like these are arrowhead bracelets that were converted into a book cover, obviously, taken photos of and converted into a book cover, but then converted into an alpha pattern. And like, this is really weird because this is string, right? Like they're unfinished bracelets. If you look at the cover, the bracelets aren't finished. So there's, first of all, the loop, and then there's just a bunch of the bracelet, and then there's strings coming out of it that I had to knot separately. And then also like, here's a bracelet. And that's just really weird in concept in general. But then also if you think even deeper than that, these are actual bracelets that I have made, some of which I still have. I think I gave away quite a bit of those, that are obviously made with strings that I had because I made with strings that I had. Then I took a photo of it and someone used that photo, converted it into a bracelet pattern. And then when I was making this, I was trying to use the strings that I had to match to that bracelet pattern because again, I gave away a lot of these bracelets. I don't have them anymore. So I was trying to match strings that I know I had so I can pretty much get an exact color match to a photo. And I don't think I did get an exact color match. Definitely not for this one. I think this color here is definitely wrong. But that's just such a funny and weird concept. But obviously this is a really special wall hanging to me. It is the cover of my book. And it also is just very special that someone went out of their way to create a pattern for the cover of my book. I thought that was really wonderful. So this is genuinely one of my favorite ever creations. And then continuing on the train of wall hangings, we have the biggest wall hanging and the biggest kind of bracelet related creation that I've ever made in my life. It's also not going to fit in frame, but this is Luffy from One Piece. He can fit in frame horizontally, but that's about it. This is the biggest thing that I have ever made. I have no idea how many hours this took because a ridiculous amount. Like this is huge. This is huge. It's huge, but I am so proud of it. It turned out so well. Like you cannot tell me that this didn't turn out amazingly. Here you go. You can see my tripod. Also for people asking how I film with the tripod on my desk upside down, and then I flip the footage when I edit it. So there you go. But this is huge. This is huge. And it's so cool. And I'm so proud of how straight it is as well. Like that is just not something that is really easily achievable, but it is. And the colors worked well. Even the shadows, I think the color of his skin and the shadow matches quite well. I think the shadow on his teeth is really good. I just really love this. And this is the back of it. Let me zoom back in. I don't like the tripod being visible. It's not my vibe. But this is the back of it. I think that's also really fun to look at. You get a bunch of different zippers here where I had a bunch of color merges. But this was so fun. It took a ridiculous amount of time, but it was really, really fun. And I am kind of considering doing it again. I think maybe I'll do one for Zuko. Maybe I'll do another anime one, in which case I might try Attack on Titan. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think I should make. I might be down to make a giant one again, but I need to have the time and the patience for that because that's a lot. Moving on, let's get back to some normal patterns. We have this one. I made a bunch of these. This is also a pattern that was really popular for quite a while. There were a lot of people that made this specific bracelet pattern in so many different combinations. I don't know why. And I made it with this really gorgeous but really annoying silver string. It's really pretty, but it's made of like just a regular string and then this metallic filament that goes around it. So I literally had to tie knots at the ends of each of the strings so that the metallic filament wouldn't unravel. And you can see that for some of them it still did. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the knot undid itself or something, but like the metallic filament would separate and it's just annoying. It was really annoying to work with. It took a lot longer to make than it normally would have because it was really fiddly. And then I used a multicolored string in the middle, goes in different shades of purple and pink. I love this one. I love the pattern. I think I made like 5 of these in general, and I gave a bunch of them away as prizes in a competition that I was doing at the time. So this is genuinely like one of my favorite patterns. More on the multicolored strings. This one very much still gives me similar vibes to this one. So it's a similar pattern first of all, but then also obviously uses a multicolored string that's kind of rainbow vibes as well. So they just kind of give me a similar vibe. And also the fact that they are similar in length. Like this one was already long, this one is even longer than that one by a little bit, but still. And it's also because I wanted to repeat the design 3 times. And I modified this pattern a little bit. If you see like the actual pattern itself, they connect, like the 2 parts connect here. But then I modified the pattern so it didn't connect. It started with like a bunch of white, and then I did the same at the end. It ended with a bunch of white. And I had to fiddle with that a little bit to figure out how to do that, but I managed it and I think it turned out really pretty. Because I feel like if I just left the connections, it would look a bit weird. Gorgeous, gorgeous bracelet. One of my favorites for sure. And then we have this one, which you might not expect to make in my top bracelets of all time because it's very simple, but I do love it. I really do. I have a tutorial for it, and I think it is the simplicity of it that I really love. And maybe this belonged in my nostalgic bracelets. Although I guess this one is recent, so this bracelet specifically wouldn't be nostalgic, but the pattern is. This was probably one of the first patterns that I learned how to do when I was first learning how to make bracelets, and maybe that's why I'm a little bit biased towards this design. But I think it's really cute. It's really easy to make, genuinely. It isn't hard, and it's very easy to remember. It's one of those patterns that like you need to either watch a tutorial or look at the pattern a couple of times to make it, maybe let's say like this much usually I would make based on a tutorial or a pattern, and then after that, you've made enough of it that you kind of remember what to do, and if not, you can refer back to the stuff that you've already made and kind of deduce what you need to do. That's a skill that you develop as you make more bracelets, so like if you're just starting out, maybe you won't be able to do that, but just saying like that is something that you can work to. So I highly recommend making this one if you haven't before. It's a wonderful bracelet. On a similar note, we have this one. This one actually ended up being one of my most popular Instagram reels, I'm pretty sure. I recorded a video of myself just making the bracelet, and I guess people loved it, and I love it. It's definitely a vibe. 2 repeating rows. This is 2 repeating rows. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. It is very easy to make. It's pretty much just a candy stripe with like minor variations. And it is, again, 2 repeating rows. I love this one because it's easy, and I also just love the way that it looks. And you can see by the twistedness of the twisted ties, I've worn this many times. I've gotten so many compliments on it. It's one of my favorite patterns. And bracelets. I also just like the colors that I chose here. We only have 2 bracelets remaining. I actually managed to get through this a lot faster than I anticipated. I say that. I've been recording for quite a while, but still. The sunburst pattern. This is very similar to the starburst. Maybe more specifically, it's similar to the mini starburst because it, you know, doesn't quite compare to the starburst by size, but it is a gorgeous pattern. I think the oranges work really well with kind of the blue and the green. Isn't it just like wonderful? I really love this one. It gives me very much summer vibes. I wear this one out a lot. I think of all of the bracelets that I've shown, these 4 bracelets, I have to actively stop myself from choosing to wear these because I've worn them so often. But this one, genuinely, I really, really love it. It is one of my absolute favorites. I think it probably, again, definitely top 5. I don't know if I should rank these. I definitely have a favorite, which I already told you is this one. This is number 1. Absolutely 100%. Not sure where this one lies, but definitely top 5. I really love it. It is a bit more of a complicated pattern. I did make a tutorial for it. It's the sunburst bracelet, but I think it's doable. Like if you've made several bracelets before, you're quite familiar with the knots, I would recommend trying it. I've seen people make it with like, instead of the white, they'll have black, and then the colors are kind of like different neons. So a bunch of neon like greens, neon blues, neon pinks, and that is just amazing. So if you're looking for inspiration in terms of colors, you can look at the variations on the pattern, and also just like at people's pictures really. There's some amazing, amazing bracelets there. And then last but not least, genuinely not least, I really love this one, my cactus bracelet. This one was so fun to make, and I really love the design so much that it inspired a whole kind of genre. I had so much fun making it that I wanted to make it again, but I didn't want to make it again, so I made a bunch of different patterns that look like it to kind of scratch that itch. I also at the time had cactus plants. I don't anymore. I think I gave 2 of them away to a friend and one of them died. I travel a lot and I realized that plants and me don't mix very well, so that's why I don't have them anymore, but I just love them. I don't know. I think loving cactuses is a very millennial thing, and I think loving mushrooms is a very Gen Z thing. And as a weird zillennial in between the 2 generations, I have a deep passion for both. So there you go. I really love this one, and this is what it looks like from the back. And there you go, these are my favorite bracelets of all time. Unfortunately, there are definitely some bracelets that are excluded in this that would have made it into this video, purely because I've given them away. There are so many bracelets that I've given away to friends and family, I've given away to patrons, I've given away through competitions, or even exchanged with friends or other fellow bracelet makers that I've connected with over the internet. So this definitely isn't a complete list, but I'm still very glad that I shared it with you. Hopefully you found a pattern or 2 that you enjoyed and that you would like to make as well, in which case definitely send me a picture if you do it. You can do that on Instagram or on Discord. The link to my server is in the description. My book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, is now out worldwide. You can get it anywhere you typically buy books, and there is also a direct link in the description. It's a photo tutorial book that takes you all the way from the basics to the more advanced stuff. And if you're looking for international shipping and can't quite figure out how that works, my publisher can help you if you reach out to them with the link in the description. Before I go, I also want to give a special shout out to my patrons, and especially my top supporters. It is with their support that I'm able to continue creating videos on this channel, and I truly appreciate that. If you also want to become a patron and support the work that I do here, the link to that is in the description. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!